Hi, I'm Tanya Tucker. Don't you go anywhere because Profiles is coming right up.
Welcome to Profiles. I'm Marley Hall. Today's guest is Tanya Tucker, one of the best known and most successful country singers of all time. Over the course of her illustrious career, she's released 42 albums while earning 10 #1 hits and 41 top 10 country singles. After a short break, we'll join our host Mickey Burns as he welcomes the personable Tanya Tucker to Profiles. Welcome back to Profiles. At age 13, Tanya Tucker's rendition of Delta Dawn made her a star. As People magazine recently wrote, she was the Taylor Swift of her day. In 1976, at age 15, Tanya released her first greatest hits collection, earned a Grammy nomination, and was on the cover of Rolling Stones with the headline, "I'm Tanya Tucker, I'm 15, and you're gonna hear from me." And we certainly have. 3 decades later, Tanya is set to release her 42nd album. So let's join our host Mickey Burns on location from Ashford and Simpson Sugar Bar in the heart of New York City as he welcomes singer Tanya Tucker to Profiles.
Love's gonna live here. Love's gonna live here. Love's gonna live here again. No more loneliness, only happiness. Love's gonna live here again.
Tanya Tucker,
Hello, Mickey.
welcome to our show Profiles.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure meeting you today. For our viewers, you are a country music superstar.
Oh, thank you.
And your body of work includes 10 #1 country singles, 33 top 5 country singles, and 41 top 10 country singles.
Yeah, forget the rest. Just the #1s. That's all that's important.
Oh man, and you've had a slew of them, and you have such a great body of work. But you're still going strong.
42 albums. This is my 42nd
Yeah.
album.
Yeah, it is quite remarkable. And the name of the CD is
My Turn.
Tell us just a little bit about the album.
Well, the album is a collection of country classics, songs that I grew up singing or listening to.
Sure.
And that my dad introduced me to most of them, really, because my dad was a country music fan, and he's really the one that started all this off for me back when I was 7 years old, maybe,
Sure.
6 or 7. And so I dedicated this album to him because I lost him in 2006 on Thanksgiving morning. And as you probably know, he's been my manager most of my career. And you know, he was pretty much with me all the time, but especially when I was singing these songs, because you know, he always told me, he said, Tanya, you got to sing, like, you got to really put some feeling in. You can't just sing a country song.
You got to feel it.
And since you're a girl, and since you're a really young girl, you're going to have to put twice as much feeling in it as the person that originally recorded it.
Sure.
And I'm thinking, because they're not going to believe you. You know, I'm the center of attention in this bar room. I mean, at 11 years old, I mean, it's not really very believable. But
Right.
you got to make them think and make them hear it. And they got to think that you've been through it.
Sure. And you said regarding your dad, reflecting on the early days, you said he pushed me until I couldn't take it.
Yeah.
However, if he hadn't, I'd probably be working at Walmart.
Well, it's true. I mean, I want to be a Walmart greeter. But
Right.
it's true because at 9 years old, he looked at me across the table in Wilcox, Arizona, and said, Tanya, do you want to be normal and like your friends and go to school, get married and raise your own kids, or do you want to be a country star? And I looked up at that poster there. We always had a poster of the Arizona State Fair because that was a big event every year.
Big, huge.
And we had to drive 390 miles to go to it, but he would take me, and I said, Daddy, I want to be a star. And he went to work for me that day, you know, and sold everything, and we started moving. Ran out of money a few times, so we had to start back and do another job. But my dad could do anything.
Sure.
He just didn't anything but, well, he could actually sing too. He had a great voice, but you know, just because you've got a good voice don't mean you can get up on stage and do it. And
Right.
but he could do anything with his hands.
Right. As you mentioned, he did pass in 2006.
Yes.
And after his death, you stopped recording up until now. Why so?
Well, I just lost my want to, I guess, you know, and it was just, and I really didn't give myself a whole lot of time to grieve. I have 3 kids at home. Sure. My oldest daughter, Presley, just turned 20, and my son, Bo Grayson, is now 17, and my youngest just turned 10. Her name's Layla. And, you know, when you get done with that, I mean, they needed my time. You know, they really did. They needed their time in their life, their age in their life, where they need their mother. And you know, I'm always so busy. So it was
have been for many years.
Yeah, always. You know, if it's not chaotic around my house, I think I'm lazy. You know.
That's funny. We just had George Foreman on the show, and he said that, you know, don't ever let the sun catch you sleeping.
Exactly.
And
make hay while the sun shines.
You bet. You bet.
You know, and, when opportunity knocks, you got to knock back.
Be there. You got to be there.
One love in your heart, a steamboat on your mind. They can tear a girl apart. I just need one-liners at the time. It's gonna tear on two apart. I just need one love at a time.
Now you've had a loyal following really since the '70s, so I would guess that a Tanya Tucker concert is pretty much like a family affair today.
Well, absolutely. You know, my fans have that started out in the very beginning with me. I have kids now, and they're kids, and they raise them up listening to my music, and I have a wide age group. Fan base, and you know that's what my dad also told me in the very beginning is that, you know, you got to pay attention to what's buttering your bread, and that's the fans, and you can't just get all big and forget about them, you know, because that's what puts you there. And really, there's some of them that I swear they're crazy. I think, you know, every time I get off the bus, there they are. You know, like, what, are you crazy or something? We just drove 12 hours, you know.
They love you.
But you know, the Tucker heads, they call them.
That's
so the Grateful Dead had the Dead heads, and I got the Tucker heads.
That's great. Now you signed your first contract at 13 years old. Shortly thereafter, had your first big hit with Delta Dawn.
Right.
But I did read somewhere that you credit Bette Midler for the success with that tune.
Well, actually, it wasn't me so much as my producer, my first producer at Columbia, Billy Sherrill, who is the genius of all times. And he said. That was right after they brought me in Happiest Girl in the Whole USA.
Yeah. And
the publisher had the publishing, so we could have done it. But I said, no, that's not my song. And Billy's just like left of center, you know, enough to be like, listen to me. And he's listening to a 12-year-old kid. So he said, I saw a chick on the Tonight Show last night, and I liked the song. And I found out later it was Bette Midler. Yep. And he had actually wanted to produce her. And then when she wasn't available, she's already had a producer, and he said, "Well, I'm just going to cut it on this little chick." You know. And so that's what happened. And we went to the piano at that moment and got a key and went in the studio the next morning and cut it.
It was a crossover hit. It went, I think, to number 6, something like that.
But it did it on its own because the record label they thought Billy was a little off, you know. So, but it really made it on its own. The fans made that record.
Delta Dawn, what's that flower you have on? Could it be a faded rose from days gone by? And did I hear you say he was meeting you here today to take you to his mansion in the sky?
Well, at 14, you had your first #1 hit with What's Your Mama's Name?
What's Your Mama's Name?
Yeah. And since then, many comparisons have been made between yourself and Leanne Rimes at 14, and most recently, Miley Cyrus's success.
Right.
What's the best piece of advice that you could give to these young stars?
Well, so far as I can see, they don't need much advice. I mean, they've been doing great, and Billy Ray Cyrus is a good friend. He's a great guy, and all these youngsters, Taylor Swift, they just, you know, they seem to be just doing really fine. I think I might get some advice from them, maybe. Maybe I need their advice.
You know, it is true.
It's true because the business has changed. I mean, when I was out there, 3 #1 records, still going to school, by the way, in Nevada, and making $600 a night with a house band. Wow. Now, you know, someone like Gretchen Wilson has a record, and she's making $100,000 a night and going down with 6 buses and down the road and a bunch of semis. So it's changed. Yeah. But someone said I might have had a part of that, you know.